All right, everybody. This is the Digital Craft, the radio show. I feel like I should be talking about this in a very exciting voice because this is an intro with intro music. I should talk about being in an underground bunker or being amazing or being at the top of Mount Rushmore or Mount something. But really, we're just going to do a quick break in the music, and then we're going to come in with a subtle, poorly looped track. This is going to get us a little more comfortable towards the topics we're talking about, which is computers, internet, websites, graphic design, programming, music. And this is the start of the show and the end of the intro.
Welcome, everybody. We're still trying to figure this out. That was the theme music. And as you can tell, I think I'm sick. My voice is a little scratchy. And I don't want to cough as much as I want to. I don't want to cough on you through the microphone. I think we still have the issue of my computer being noisy, so I have to speak continuously or close to continuously so that the noise gate does not start blasting the computer fan into your ear. But actually, I'm gonna have to cough, so I'll cough away. Excuse me. Today we had we did have some music, but the folks that sent it to me forgot to make it downloadable, so we're stuck with my bands again. Just because I want to keep with the format, not because I want to promote my bands to a worldwide audience. Of course I do. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about eBay and Craigslist today. Everybody knows that there's scams all over that. I almost fell victim to one today. Trying to sell a keyboard, musical keyboard, not computer keyboard. And I put my phone number in there in a somewhat encrypted way that you're supposed to do on things like Craigslist, where you don't put all the numbers as numbers. Sometimes you spell them out and all that. That way people can't strip your phone number out of there, which I could teach you how to do, but I don't want to. But anyway, so I got 2 text messages this morning, and the first flag was that one, they did not read that I said when you send me a message, put such and such in the subject line. I think I just said put keyboard in the subject line. So that's my first guess that there's something up with these responses. But then again, there's people who just don't read everything, so you can't always take it at that. But the response that I first read went on. Well, it first just asked if it was for sale still, and so I responded yes. And let me get to my messages here. And then they proceeded to send me 3 more text messages talking about how they're currently out of the country and they bought this item because they want to give it as a birthday gift, and they will pay me via PayPal, and I need to send them my PayPal email address so they can transfer what looks to be $150 more than what I was selling the item for. They wanted to give me $350 for shipping, which I guess if they're international, maybe maybe that's kind of close. If I get insurance, I don't know. But either way, one, I don't want to sell to somebody outside of my city. Really, I want to sell it now, and I want to get rid of it. So, I probably wasn't going to respond anyways, but either way, it started looking fishy. I mean, I was thinking about it. I mean, they're not asking me for my bank account information like most scams. They're not asking me, I don't know, the normal stuff. They're not asking me for login information, things like that. They're just asking me for my PayPal email, which to me, I think, I don't know. I was thinking, if they're going to give me the money now and I see it in there, then what's the harm? But I decided to go ahead and do a search online and just type in birthday scam Craigslist or something. And I found a page where somebody talked about a eBay scam, and it read pretty similar. Different words, same point. And I don't really know. Maybe this isn't a scam, but they felt it was a scam, so they stayed away from it. So I'm going to stay away from it. It's interesting to me, though. I don't like it when things like this, I don't know how to explain it, but, I put the phone number in there in a way that couldn't be scraped easily. So somebody had to do this manually, at least I think. And then they had to send me text messages. And there's a phone number involved, which I don't feel like calling back, but there is a phone number. So I don't know. And someone is actually responding. So is there actually an auto responder? Is somebody out there creating things that can scrape a Craigslist ad and read a phone number in a weird way? I mean, there was no real format to it. It gave you all the numbers, but it was randomly, a number and then a spelled out number and such, so the fact that somebody might be able to scrape that and put that together as a phone number, then send me a text message, and then respond to me all automatically, that bothers me. Now, if they're doing it manually, well, I could give them a little credit. They're putting some effort into it. If you're going to steal from me, I like it when you put some effort into it. But either way, I wanted to let that known. Hopefully other people know about all the other scams that are similar to that, that somebody's going to send their daughter here who's 18 and they need to deposit some money in a U.S. account. It's going to be like $4,000 and blah, blah, blah. And they'll send it to you now. She's not coming until December. And what they'll end up doing is asking you to, I don't remember how it goes. Either way, they ask you to send them a smaller amount of money for some reason, like $200, $300, and then they'll send you $4,000. And basically, they'll send you the $4,000, then you'll send your money, and then they'll cancel the check or reverse the charge, and then you're out that money. So watch out for that one too. With a wife who works in a bank, being me, my wife, she works in a bank. I learn about a lot of these things, and I also get yelled at a lot for doing stupid things with my bank account. So I'll keep up on that. I've had my credit card numbers stolen from ordering things from shady sites because I didn't care, and then I learned to care after I somehow magically purchased, I think it was somewhere around 30 porn accounts within about 15 seconds. And when talking to the bank, I had to defend that. Of course, they didn't have to defend it too hard, but I had to tell them, I'm not just trying to pull off that I was embarrassed that I got a porn account, but there's just no humanly possible way I could have signed up for 30 in that amount of time. So please give me my money back, which, for those who don't know, usually you can get your money back, especially in cases like that where actual companies were charged or took the money out. But 30 accounts, that's 30 different companies. And so I'm not getting my money back anytime soon. It pretty much trickled in over a 3-month period. I lost about $800, I think, and I had to wait several months for it to trickle back into my account. So that's a lesson learned there. Just be careful. I don't really have any absolute way of telling you, these are the bad sites, these are the good ones. I mean, outside of, looking for the fact that it's a secure site, things like that. Order from companies that are well known. Order from companies that are multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar corporations that have to have security things in place. With that said, though, you also have to be careful that you don't have spyware, malware, whatever on your computer that is, tracking what you're typing and things like that. I'm pretty sure that's how I got caught. Or not caught. I didn't get caught. I lost my debit card number. So that's my spiel on that. I was hoping some people had some questions. I only see Justin, who is part of the Digital Craft. Still don't have a name for the folks that are part of the Digital Craft. Justin, Xavier, Jaden, and most recently Jack, who was part of our session the other night where we attempted to record 4 videos for the Dynamic series. We successfully recorded 1, and also successfully chatted on for about 4 hours. So while I think that was a great experience, it was fun to have people involved. I'm going to do it again, yet this time we're not going to chat so long. We're actually going to get the recordings done. But that is going to happen tonight. I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that I have more monitors than anybody needs to have. So I have our Facebook account open right now. I have Skype open. I have the Spreaker page open so I can watch how that looks right now, which I realize it does say I'm live. I like that. And I'm trying to make sure. Totally lost my train of thought. But yeah. Oh, that's what I was doing. I'm trying to figure out when that show is going to be. I think I was talking about 9:30 Eastern Standard. I don't know what that is in everybody else's time zone. I'm having trouble with that. I'm also having trouble with everybody I talk to outside of the country who uses the metric system whenever we, inevitably get to the topic of the weather. People are pretty floored when I say it's 50 or 60 degrees here, or when I say I used to live in Vegas and it got up to 110. I always forget that they're using Celsius, and that's a number that would kill you. So I'm still trying to figure out how to convert that in my discussions. So time zones, since we have listeners and viewers and students all over the world, South Africa, a lot of people in Europe. Those are the big ones. But I'm trying to figure that out, and I'll get better at it. I'm also trying to relearn military time, or whatever it's called in all the other countries. But when I went to Full Sail, that's the timing that we used. We used military time. Since it was a 24-hour school, you would have classes sometimes at 1 a.m. and then a lab at 4 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon. And to make things easier, they made us all learn military time, and that was 10 years ago. So I've kind of forgot how that works. So I'm working on that. The other topic I wanted to talk about today, not the other, but one of them, is what we're going to do about courses. Jack, our newest member of the Digital Craft family, title to be determined, introduced me to a website called Udemy, as in U Academy, I believe, is what they're trying to get across there, but Udemy, UDEMY.com. And it's kind of got me conflicted. I'm using the go-to training software for the courses now, and I'm a little I already said that, a little conflicted, because what I was planning on doing is doing things as much like a class as possible. I'm instructing live. The students are live. We have Q&As, things like that. And that's great. And then I see this site here where I can basically pre-record my courses, kind of like what I've already done for free on YouTube, and upload those and then charge an entry fee to watch those videos. That sounds like a very, very smart idea. And so now I'm conflicted because I really want to offer something else, something different. The ability to have an actual classroom experience, or at least as much as possible, on online. But at the same time, as far as money is concerned and keeping us rolling, the Udemy thing sounds good too. They claim to have tools for live classes, but I have not checked them out yet, and I don't know if they're going to be good enough. So I might do both. I know I'm definitely going to do something with Udemy, because there's no reason not to. There's other people on there teaching and making good money, and I've gotten reviews people telling me that I could do just as good, if not better, than the folks teaching web development and such. So it also gives me a chance to get some of the other topics out that I was hoping to discuss or teach, which I haven't. I got stuck in this web development thing, and I originally meant for the digital craft to be more geared towards Photoshop and graphic design and things, since I am actually a graphic designer. That's what I went to school for. That's what I did for a living first. But I'm happy that I'm teaching web development, considering I learned it the same way you're learning from me. I don't have any, previous knowledge in it from. I might have taken a programming class in high school. I actually don't remember. That's another story about. I don't know. I don't know why I can't remember. For some reason, I feel like I may have. But anyway, that's something I want to talk a little bit more about here after our little commercial break, where hopefully by now we're getting commercials that are not just Spreaker commercials, because if we aren't, then we're not making money yet on these commercials, and I'm just boring you for 30 seconds. But either way, it gives me a chance to cough and catch my breath. So here is our commercial break. I think I coughed enough. I think we're good. My voice is feeling a little bit better. We'll talk about that just a little bit more. I'd like to know people's thoughts on that. I'll post things about it on Facebook as well, because I know not everybody is listening or, hearing these broadcasts. However, Justin did inform me just now that I already have 117 followers on here. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I had no idea. I'm running out of... I've got so many different places I have to look on a day-to-day basis, between Facebook and Spreaker and all my email accounts and the website, all these things. I gotta keep up to date with this crap. But it's great to know that we have 117 followers. Justin's also chatting with me right now. I don't know if anybody else knows that you can do so. But he says he's thinking about some questions for me, so I hope somebody else does. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll talk more about Udemy on Facebook and get some people's thoughts, feedback on it. But when I do start doing things on Udemy, my promise to you is that does not mean I'm not going to continue doing the free things on YouTube. That's how I started. That's how I got this audience and this platform. And I will not ever, as long as I'm doing this, I will always continue to do the free videos. However, hopefully everybody understands that, me doing this full time means that I've got to make some money too. So, Also must note we're doing this show right after I picked up my children and during the day, so there are children upstairs, dogs upstairs, people outside doing normal daytime people things, so I think you're hearing my dogs bark now. So they're part of the show, and I apologize about that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was mobile apps. Some people have been talking to me about building apps and asking whether I can, or hearing that I know how to make apps, and that it's true. I do. I know how to make apps. However, at this point, I can't make a native app to the point where I could teach that. The programming languages I've not had time to learn, like Java for Android and Objective-C for iOS, and so on and so forth, and whatever Microsoft is using at the moment for whatever crap they're doing. If you haven't noticed, I'm still irritated by Windows 8 and their decision to take away my start menu. But point being, there is an application or an option, PhoneGap, which was started by a handful of programmers. Adobe bought it out. Probably it could have been a year ago now, which was wise for them. Now Apache has something to do with it. I'm a little confused when I go in to look at the framework, the JavaScript framework. It's called Cordova, I believe, and it has something to do with Apache. So there's a little bit of confusion, at least on my part, as to who really runs and is controlling PhoneGap. But anyway, what PhoneGap does, at the very minimal, is pretty clever. It's one of those ideas that anybody could have thought of, and I'm glad somebody did. I wish it was me. I wish it was you. I wish it was, you know what I mean? One of those ideas, it's so that, you know, whatever. But what it does is you upload your web site, for lack of better words. You make a website using HTML and JavaScript and CSS, and you package that into a zip file. You upload it to the PhoneGap website, and it will compile it and turn it into native apps for, I don't know how many different platforms they're doing right now. The last time I used it was a couple of months ago, and they were still doing BlackBerry and Windows Mobile and Symbian, and along with iOS and Android. My dogs seem to want to really kill somebody, so I apologize for that if you can hear it in the mic. But what it does is the simplicity of it, it's just so cool. It basically builds a Chromeless browser in the device's native application or programming language. For instance, Android, it'll create a Chromeless browser in Java and load your website in it. So by Chromeless, if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean no borders, no options, no nothing. It's a browser, but not. I mean, it's just a thing to open a web page in, and it's full screen. So you would never know that you're opening a web page. I mean, the trained eye can see that the things you're doing in there kind of have a web feel. But if you use tools like jQuery Mobile and such, you can even theme it and style it really fast and easily to have all the kind of mobile transitions and effects that you're used to, the sliding and things like that, the animation. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's if you just do a very simple app. They also have that framework I was talking about, the one that I'm not sure what it's called anymore and who's running it, but there's a framework you can use to actually take advantage of the hardware itself and the features of the particular devices, like contact lists, the GPS, the accelerometer, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the thing that pretty much tells you where you are in space, not like the GPS, but kind of like, how fast you're going and where you are on a X and Y and Z axis. So that's pretty cool, and that's all part of the framework. So that's the more advanced stuff. So yes, I can make an app. Yes, I could probably teach a course on making basic apps using PhoneGap. And PhoneGap, I believe, still has a free account. I don't think you have to pay unless you get really into it. There's certain features you don't get if you don't pay. However, I could be wrong. I'll have to check into that again. But I will note that in order to get these apps on the Apple Store, you have to have a developer account with Apple, which costs something like $100 per person, and I think that's a yearly fee, which that's a pain. Plus, generally, you have to have an actual Mac in order to launch it. You have to do some things with certificates and things like that require you to have a Mac, which is a pain for people like me who are PC based. So you have to get a Mac. So get like a Mac Mini or something and turn it on, whenever you have to do that, and then go back to your PC because it's better. Anyways, I'll get flack for that, I'm sure. But the Google, last time I checked, although when I became a Google developer, that was well over a year ago, it cost me $25, and that was a one-time fee. Now that they've changed things around, it's not the Google Market anymore. It's called Google Play, which I liked the idea of Google Market better. It made more sense to me. But I know they're trying to get more into the music side of things, so to compete with Apple, that's probably why they did that. But the other, I lost my train of thought because Justin's trying to talk to me. But so bottom line, those options are out there, and I'm going to hopefully be able to teach on them. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. We're gonna go to our music break so I can catch my breath and come up with some topics because I don't have any more. So, this is a song from one of my bands because we still don't have anybody else submitting music yet. Although I haven't really tried hard to find any. I'll put a little more effort into that so that we're not. I'm not shamelessly promoting my own bands. This is another track from that live broadcast one of my bands did from a show called Meet the Music. This is my band, That Crafty Devil, and the song is Bloodshot Eyes. Yet, I will tell you it's not for the reason you think, but here it is. All right. And that was a track from my band, of course, again, because I'm still waiting on more music. My apologies for the shameless plugging of my music. But that was my band, That Crafty Devil. The song is Bloodshot Eyes. And I believe it is about working the late shift at a factory, which is what my singer did until he quit his job, just like I did, in order to pursue something different and more fun. In his case, he creates sculptures and has a 3D printer where he can actually, and scanner, so he scans his little miniature sculptures. And for those of you who don't know what a 3D scanner is, I'll give you a visual representation. It kind of looks like a microwave plate. You set your object on it, and it rotates. And it rotates slowly, and what it will do is it'll shoot a laser out, and it'll scan all over the whatever side is facing it, and then all of a sudden a big flash of light, which is actually a flash, and that's the camera taking a picture of the object itself for the skin, or the material. For those of you who don't know 3D well, I'll maybe explain that a little better here in a second. But then it'll rotate some more, use the laser to scan, take another picture, and it'll do that over and over and over. And it just kind of rotates until it's done. And then when it's done, it's on your computer and stored as a 3D model. And I know at least enough about this stuff because that's originally what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a graphic designer. I wanted to be a 3D model and animator. But so I watch him do this, and what's great is he can then take this model, clean it up a little bit, kill some of the vertices, kill some of it, because there's a lot of imperfection when you're talking about a sculpture that was man-made, and the scanner is so good that it picks up on those, and you can kind of fine-tune it in the software. And then when you're done fine-tuning it, he has this thing that almost looks like it was built with an erector set. I mean, it was, for those of you who know what that is, but it's this machine that will take plastic that comes in little coils, and it will heat it up just enough to be pliable and not to burn it. And layer by layer, it will, for lack of better words, print out the 3D 3D object. So you will have a 3D replica of the sculpture sitting there when it's done. It's pretty cool. And so I don't know how I got on that tangent. I'm glad it gave me a topic to talk about. But yeah, the 3D, I wish I had one. They're expensive as all get out. He pretty much saved up unlike I did. But he saved up with the plan to leave his factory job, which again is what that song was about, and spent a few $1,000s and bought himself this setup, which you can buy a pre-built version of the 3D printer, or you can actually just buy the pieces. And since he's an experienced machinist, I think that's the word for him, he decided to spend less and actually put the whole thing together himself, which is a pretty cool feat in itself. What I'm going to do, excuse me if you heard that, what I'm going to do, actually, I already started this in bad form. I released the video before I was done with the series, but I want to do a 3D or a series on 3D tools in Photoshop. And so we have a series that we're working on, him and I together, where the first video is just me making a sculpture. I do sculptures too, and I make a simple sculpture. And then the second video, which we haven't recorded yet, we're going to go over to his house and we're going to scan it in. He's going to talk about what's going on as it's happening, and we'll look at the computer, we'll see what's coming, how the software works and things like that. This part of it's a little more just for fun, just to show something unique. We're not really teaching you how to use the material, the 3D scanner and printer. We just want to show you it in action. And then I'm going to take that model and then I'm going to load it into Photoshop and show you how you can paint on it. And when I say paint on it, what's cool about it, and if you do anything with 3D, if you've done anything in the past with 3D, you'll understand how cool this is. You can use pretty much every single tool that Photoshop has to paint on top of this model, as in paint on the skin of it, and then save that skin out. It's awesome. I mean, if you want to touch up something that's already painted when it's scanned in, if the texture's already on it, you can do that. If you want to do what we're going to do, and that is we're using a sculpture that I'm not painting. I'm not even going to bake it. I use Sculpey, and we're just going to scan it in, and then I'll reuse the Sculpey later. But so it's just a blank canvas, and we're gonna paint on it, and I'm going to show you how to use that. So as soon as I get off my rear end, I will go over to my buddy's house, and we will get that video finished. And for that record, I'm going to try not to release videos like that of a series, especially one that's only a couple videos long, before I've got them all. Now, these long series, I can't do that. I can't wait for myself to record 20 or 30 videos to release it. I got to get them out, as I'm recording them. But for things like that, I won't do that anymore. But looks like I've read Sebastian's mind. For those of you who are not in the chat, you don't know what I'm talking about, but he did mention a website, let's see, to check out Creative Form, or well, nope, I'm going to spell it, CREAFORM 3D.com/EN, I'm imagining for English. And so check that out. I don't know, hopefully Sebastian's not sending me somewhere bad. I think normally I should probably check out links before I give them out to people, but I've talked to Sebastian and I trust him. I'm the type of person that will trust you until I can't. So I appreciate that, Sebastian. Which, by the way, those of you listening and or listening live, there's about a 14-second delay. So you have the ability to type things to me, and I can read it and try to address it with kind of in real time, or not real time, but I have enough time to actually process it in my brain. So that's nice. But yeah, Sebastian, I'm going to do 3D stuff. So look forward to that. We got to get this the dynamic web thing done. I can't say it's a pain in my side because I love it, but if there's a better way to say that, it's a pain because I got to get it finished, and I can't stand that folks out there have watched this thing all the way up to the point where I'm at, and it just stops. if I think of myself doing that, watching a video series and spending all that time into it, and then all of a sudden it just stops, and then you're waiting a month or so for someone to come out with the rest of it, that would I don't know, it would drive me nuts, and it would probably drive me away. So it's not good business anyways. It's bad for business. So you try and work on doing things better in that front as well. I'm going to catch my breath, chat with Sebastian, and put a commercial on for 30 seconds really quick here. So here is our second commercial break. And we are back. Again, I can't hear the commercials, so I don't know what they're saying. Sebastian, if you want to tell me, was it a Spreaker commercial or is it for something else? I have to let you know that I'm going to cut this one shorter than normal. The last show we did went on a little longer, but I have to gather up the children and go pick up my wife from work, so she tends to not like me being late for that, so we're going to trim it by about 10 minutes, the 10 minutes that I was late. But to continue on, I guess I'll just talk about a little more about what we've already talked about with PhoneGap and jQuery. Check that out. Check out jQuery Mobile especially. One thing that I really like about jQuery in general and the folks that made it is that their documentation is just solid. They've made all sorts of tools and documentation that make it really easy to follow. It's one of those things though, if you just jump into it, you may be lost, and you might call me a liar on that. But once you get over that initial kind of learning, I don't know what to call it, like learning hump or curve or hurdle or whatever, that when that light bulb goes off in your brain and you go, oh my gosh, I get this now. Once you get it, then you'll find that the tools they have for it are amazing. They've got the jQuery and then jQuery UI, which helps make everything have this, slick style to it. Although it's getting a little overdone, but you have the ability to go in there and change all the CSS and learn how to make your own styles. In fact, they even have a tool that helps you create new styles, so that's cool. But then jQuery Mobile, they have an example area in their documentation where you can check out all of the different features they have. And I'll tell you right now, if you do it, check it out first on your your computer, your PC, your Mac, or whatever you're on, and then just browse around. But then if you have a mobile device, go there again on there and then check it out, because you're going to miss out on a lot of the cool transitions and slides and things. The PC isn't capable of doing that, so you're not going to see it at its full potential. But once you're there and once you see it, you'll understand how you could take this and then make a PhoneGap app out of it, and people wouldn't really necessarily know the difference. Now, the styling of jQuery Mobile definitely takes a iOS approach. I mean, it looks identical to an iOS app, a standard iOS app. So you can always go in there and change that if you want. But if you want an out of the box iOS looking app, boom, there you got it. In fact, all you have to do is change a couple of settings in the tags that are already in HTML. Excuse me. They have a list of properties that they've incorporated into there, and you just change those. And you can take an everyday normal list and turn it into a cool little push button slide transition list, things like that, without me being able to show you. It's hard to do. So check that out, jQuery.com, jQueryMobile.com. Look at those things. And there goes the dogs again. Check out their documentations. Read up a little bit on it too. Read up on the framework, which I guess is called Cordova. Still don't know. But check that out. And you don't need to use that to make a mobile app. That's just an option. You can use that to make a mobile version of your website, which is something we'll talk about too. Once I finish the dynamic series, we're going to move into the Atom.cms series, which may be confusing to folks, but the dynamic series is kind of building the fundamentals, getting everybody on the right page, and we're going to cut that one off here after a couple of more lessons, and then we're going to move into the actual Atom.cms where we're going to build this product, and if all goes as planned, it should be pretty cool. So to answer Sebastian's question that he just asked me, because he missed the beginning of the show, once we've completed that, I will do some work on doing some things with mobile, showing some ways to do mobile things, maybe just a quick series on jQuery mobile in general. And if I can, I'll incorporate it in or show you how you could use what we've already done in the dynamic series. However, I don't want to steer people wrong, because we're going to start the Atom.cms series from the point we left off in the dynamic series. So anything I do outside of those two, if I refer back to the dynamic series and you use that as a model for doing mobile stuff, keep in mind that save a copy of where we left off, because that's the model we're going to use to start the Atom series. But anyway, I have run out of time. I have just enough time to play one more track, which I hope everybody listens to. It's going to be the exit track until I have an exit theme. Of course, I need to get it loaded into the queue here, which I'm learning this application slowly, but the interface on Spreaker is pretty cool, but sometimes it takes a second to catch up, being that it's Flash, and forces me to have to ramble on about nothing until I figure it out, which I have just now figured it out. We're going to leave the show with another track from the Meet the Music sessions, which is aired on a local NPR station here. It's hosted by Julia Meek, and I promise Julia that I will remember the call, or not the call sign, but the frequency number of the station next time. But anyways, it's a cool show that features local musicians and records them. And this is a recording from there. This is my band, That Crafty Devil, which I play drums on. Andy, the guy with the 3D printer, is the singer. And the two other guys, the guy playing guitar, Nate, is a longtime friend, and Scott playing the guitar is wait, I don't even remember if I fumbled that. Nate on bass, Scott on guitar, who is a longtime friend as well. And we are going to end this with Cataclysm Mary by That Crafty Devil. So here we go.
Mama died way up above, and my wife said that girl is good. Within a year, her dad went to too many drugs and too much food. Oh, sweet death, all them mental scars I've left. Oh, sweet death. Oh, sweet death, all my life been regret. Oh, sweet death. She met a man, made her a wife, before the reaper could take his life. One bloody night, wild in a rage, she went to the kitchen, grab her 12 gauge. Oh, sweet death, all them mental scars I've left. Oh,